Hi everyone! Today we are going to explain Activity 3 of Chapter 4, which is about the histology of the nervous system, the neuron, a functional unit, page 68-69. In this activity, we are going to explain all the structures that constitute the nervous system concerning the neuron or the nerve cell, the brain, the parts of the brain, the spinal cord, as well as the structure of the nerve and the nerve. As an introduction, let me remind you about the structure of the nervous system. What does the nervous system consist of? Of course, we are talking about the nervous system of the vertebrates. The nervous system of the vertebrates include two parts, a central nervous system as well as peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system, it includes the brain or encephalon, which include the three parts, cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata, and we have the spinal cord. And with respect to the peripheral nervous system, we have the nerves, and you know that we have cranial nerves, the ones that are related to the brain, and we have the spinal nerves, the ones that are related to the spinal cord. Here is the structure of the nervous system. Brain, spinal cord, together they form the central nervous system, and we have the nerves which form the peripheral nervous system. What is the basic or the smallest or the anatomical unit of the nervous system? What if I ask you another question? What do we have inside our brain? How does the analysis of the nervous message take place? Of course, it takes place by the nerve cells, by the action of the nerve cells. The nerve cells, they have another name called the neuron. The neuron or the nerve cell, it is the smallest or anatomical unit of the nervous system. Anatomical, it means structural. The smallest structural unit in the nervous system, it is the nerve cell, and it is the basic building block of the nervous system. It is basically made of the nerve cells. Here is the neuron. Here is the most typical neuron, and this type is called multipolar neuron. Let us identify the different parts of such neuron. You are responsible for the label. So this is the star shape, we call it cell body. And the cell body includes cell membrane, cytoplasm, and this is the nucleus. And from the cell membrane we have short cytoplasmic prolongations or extensions like the tree. Look how they are extending from the cell membrane. These are called dendrites. They are receivers. What do they receive? Any stimulus you are subjected to, it is going to be received by the stimulus in order to allow its entrance toward the nerve cell and to be taken along our nervous system. And there is the long extension in the red one. All of this is the axon. The axon, at the end of the axon, we have a region called axon terminals, and it includes the fingers. These one, like the fingers, they are called terminal buds, and inside them we have something called synaptic vesicles. And with respect to this long extension, it is called axon. What do we call it? Axon. And along the axon we have a sheath called the myelin sheath. This red cover or sheath, it is called myelin. Yes, and it has two roles. It is very, very important. Myelin sheath, it is used as an insulator. It insulates the axon and it tries to help it. And the second role is very important, that the presence of myelin sheath along the axon of the nerve cell facilitates or speeds up the propagation of the nervous message. So its presence is very important because it speeds up the propagation of the nervous message. And if you notice that the myelin sheath doesn't exist all along the axon, It is separated by gaps, right? These gaps, they were discovered by Ranvier. For that reason, they are called nodes of Ranvier or Ranvier's node. So till now, the neuron consists of a star shape called cell body, and the long extension it is called axon. Inside the cell body we have cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and dendrites, and inside we have here we have uh, the different parts of the neuron. So if you want to define a neuron, what is a neuron? It is the basic or the fundamental functional and structural unit of the nervous system. Responsible for what? It is the one that is responsible for transmitting and receiving nerve impulses all along our body. These cells, they have many parts, including the dendrites, the cell body, the axon, and the terminal arborization. These are the parts in general. Here is another structure of a neuron, a multipolar neuron. As I said, these are the dendrites. All of this, it is the cell body, which includes the nucleus, the cytoplasm, the cell membrane. We have the axon, which is surrounded by the myelin sheath, and the last region of the axon is called terminal arborization. And look at the arrow, it is representing the pathway of the nerve impulse. You know that the dendrites, they are the ones that receive the stimulus, the message gonna enter toward the cell body, and then it is gonna be taken away from the cell body through the axon to the terminal arborization in order to be transmitted into another neuron. And like this, the nervous message propagates from one neuron to another. So the neuron consists of the cell body that contains the nucleus. It consists of also of cytoplasmic prolongations or extensions. The short ones, they are called dendrites, and they are short and thick. And the long one long one, which is called axon, and it is long and thick. Again, here is the structure of the nervous system of the vertebrates, which include the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Okay, and here is the structure of the multipolar neuron. We have the cell body, which include the dendrites, okay, and the cell membrane and the nucleus and the cytoplasm. And with respect to the axon, it includes the myelin sheath, the Schwann sheath, Schwann's nucleus, and between them there are gaps called nodes of Ranvier. Okay, here is the structure of the neuron. Here I want from you to identify or to know the role of each one, okay, as I mentioned them before. So the neuron, I repeat, consists of the cell body, the star shape. From the star shape we have cytoplasmic prolongations. The long and the thin ones are the axon, and the short and thick ones, they represent the dendrites. What is the role of the dendrites or the sensory receptors? They are responsible to receive different stimuli. Any stimulus you receive it, for example, if you are subjected to a hot object, we call it thermal stimuli, or electrical stimulus, we call it electrical stimuli, or for a shock or any damage, okay, we call it mechanical stimulus. And if you are subjected to an acid or base, we call it chemical stimulus. So if you so your body, your nerve cell gonna receive the stimulus through the dendrites, and it is going to convert them into a nerve impulse, which is in the form of electrochemical message, in order to transmit it to the cell body. What is the role of the axon? The axon is going to take the nervous message from the cell body to another neuron, okay, through the terminal arborization region. What is the role of myelin sheath? As I mentioned before, it is very important. Myelin sheath is an insulator to protect the neuron formed of lipids, a phospholipid layer that envelope the axon, and its main role is to speed up the transmission or the propagation of the nerve message. Schwann cell, the nucleus, the period that I placed it between the myelin sheath and the Schwann sheath. It protects the myelin sheath, and the nodes of Ranvier, they are the gaps uh, between the myelin sheath layer. Okay, it is a node or gap between two myelin sheaths along the axis. How does the nerve impulse move? Its direction takes place in one direction. It is considered unidirectional, where it starts in the dendrites. From the dendrites, it enters the signals that are going to enter into the cell body, and from the cell body will be taken away into the axon to reach the terminal arborization in order to transmit it into another neuron. So can we consider the nerve message moves in one direction? Of course, yes. For that reason, we say that the direction of the nerve impulse, it is unidirectional. Finally, I'm going to ask you what is a nerve fiber and what is a nerve. A nerve fiber, it is axon or dendrite. Let's return back to the neuron. As I said, it is the star shape and the long extension and the short extensions. If you take the short extension dendrite or the axon without the cell body, they represent nerve fibers. So you can use for the word dendrite nerve fiber as well as for the word axon as nerve fiber. So a nerve fiber, it is a thread-like extension of a nerve cell, and it consists of an axon and myelin sheath if present in the nervous system. So the axon of the nerve cell alone, whether it was myelinated or unmyelinated, it represents a nerve fiber. Okay. Finally, what is a nerve? A nerve, it is bundle of nerve fibers. Look here, we've taken a nerve and it is dissected transversely or horizontally. We will see groups, circles. Okay, these groups, they are groups of nerve fibers. So the nerve, it is a group of nerve fibers, many nerve fibers all together. They are found with each other. For the label, you have to know this structure or this structure without please mentioning the layers epineurium, perineurium, and what else? Uh, endoneurium. So I want from you to know that each circle, it is a nerve bundle. It consists of a group of nerve fibers, and we have connective tissue, we have blood capillaries, we have myelin sheath. Yes, if you want to protect yourself from myelin sheath. And what else? This is all the label that I need. Thank you. Any question, please ask.